You ready?
I'm ready.
Ready?
Playoffs.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Playoffs.
I'm ready.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another Periscope Live. I'm Garcia. Brian brought us sporting the ugly purple color. LSU, multiple layers here.
It's cold here.
It's not that cold.
Yeah.
Not inside. But
Oh,
anyways,
here we are.
you're good?
Yeah.
You're good. Okay.
Dale.
Dale. Hola. A todos, we'll be answering questions, whatever you want to talk about. Mainly Seattle, since they're the ones who are coming to Arlington, AT&T Stadium this Saturday. Playoff game against the Cowboys.
You ready?
Are you ready?
I am ready.
How are you feeling about this game?
Two very evenly matched teams. You know, when you look at them, when you say, okay, who's got the advantage at quarterback? Who's got the advantage at running back?
Mm-hmm.
Who's got the advantage? You know, they've got a good rusher. You've got a good rusher. They've got a good running back. You've got a good running back. Offensive line, they're playing a little bit better. Their offensive line is giving up some sacks. Your offensive line is giving up some sacks. And the secondary, your secondary has been okay. Their secondary, I mean, it's really, if you look at this, it could very well come down seriously to the quarterback play. It could come down to Russell Wilson making a play, or if we've seen with Dak Prescott, him making a play. Half his victories are come from behind victories in his life, and so, you know, he's got playoff experience after what happened in the Green Bay game, and you know that was a big gamble Garrett did the other day, playing him the whole game, but it
How about that?
Worked out.
Definitely worked out.
But you're talking about a team that is two teams that are really evenly matched when you just say player for player. And there's a lot of times in the playoffs that both teams, I mean, not every team is that evenly matched, but this team, they were at one time, you know, they were like 4-5. You know, Dallas was 3-5. They started off poorly, the Seahawks, and they've kind of figured out stuff. Up tempo, maybe not. These guys don't take their personnel off the field, you know. So that's kind of where I think that if you go up tempo against, they'll keep their same personnel on the field. They'll keep their nickel personnel on the field, and they won't care. That's up tempo. I don't think is a really good answer here. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Left guard. Let's talk about the O-line.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, the players, the only one that isn't really doing anything is Xavier Su'a-Filo. He hurt his ankle again. I believe it's the same ankle he had hurt a few weeks back.
Yes, ma'am.
I forgot what game that was, but
yeah.
It was the ankle, and then the whole eye thing happened, and then now we're back to the ankle. Yeah. And so far, he hasn't practiced.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
He hasn't practiced.
He didn't practice all yesterday. And Ambar, if you remember, when he doesn't practice and then he tries to play, he's not very good. He tried to do that in the Philadelphia game, and it was a bad game. Now, again, Philadelphia, the first time he played Philadelphia, he was just fine. Second time he played Philadelphia, he wasn't as good. Had some trouble in the New Orleans game because he was a little bit banged up too. So,
what are you expecting? Do you think they're gonna try to play him, even though he hasn't practiced all week so far?
I think tomorrow is a big day, and I think if he practices tomorrow, then he's gonna play. If he doesn't practice, they've been getting Connor Williams ready at left guard, and so Connor Williams has played better. He's, you know, when he got to sit out and kind of take a look at things, he's played a little bit better. So he's still not strong and all that. But when you're playing against a team like Seattle, Seattle is one of those teams, Amber, that you want to get them going one direction and then take the ball and go back the other way. So like misdirections, the counters, the boots, anything to get them overflowing one way. And then this is where Connor Williams can help you in the game because he can get out on the edge and block. Whether it's the screens, the tosses, the counters, the boots. Maybe that's where, in this game plan, Connor Williams might be better than Su'a-Filo. But Su'a-Filo has been, you know, they won 7 out of 8 games with Su'a-Filo playing guard.
But you've also won games with Connor in there at the beginning of the season.
Right.
They all just happen to be home games. Fortunately for the Cowboys, they are at home, so that's definitely an advantage there. And I mean, it's possible, and we've seen them win games.
I was watching Su'a-Filo work on the side, and he was moving okay. He was just in T-shirts and shorts, but he was with Britt Brown, the associate athletic trainer, rehabbing and trying to get tomorrow's key. Someone said it on right there. If he practices tomorrow, there's a great chance he can
green light.
Yeah, he can green light this thing and go.
All right. Well, I see several people mentioning Blake Jarwin and what he can do for the Cowboys now in the red zone. Can he help more there after what we watched last weekend against the Giants? He got 3 touchdowns. Was an incredible game for him. Something that doesn't happen very often, especially for that position.
I was 10 years old the last time it happened.
So definitely a special moment. But now, is this something that they would be able to carry on, and are they going to carry it on till this week, or did you see that more of something that just kind of happened once in a while, and then it's against the Giants? But
he's been getting open, Ambar, but he hasn't been getting open like that.
Yeah.
And I think now you're starting to see Dak Prescott having more confidence. Him and then even Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz had a 20-yard reception as well. So both the tight ends are starting to catch the football more as we're going forward here. But I think a lot of it had to do with Jarwin, A, gets open, B, he's able to finish, C, the Giants played them in a way with the 2 safeties playing wide and nobody in the middle of the field, though. They took great advantage of that. So can he do some red zone stuff? Absolutely, he can do some red zone stuff because you've seen his ability to go up and then high point the football. Now, the last time that these 2 teams played, though, he had one pass thrown to him, and remember it clanged off his hands. It was a contested ball, and then Earl Thomas intercepted the ball. So hopefully, we'll think.
And if not, I mean, definitely something that could distract the defense, the Seattle defense, just putting those kinds of plays on tape.
Right.
So another asset to have there as far as the offense goes. You know what? I'm seeing a lot of questions about Chris Richard, and this is starting to come up now. Our guy Chris Richard, a lot of talk about the possibility of him maybe moving on somewhere for a head coaching job.
Right.
Do you think this is going to happen? This is going to go down?
I think it's a possibility. Absolutely. There's 8 openings right now, and so you look at these openings and you say, okay, Chris Richard, the candidates they're talking to some retread guys that have lost their jobs. Chris Richard, as you know, will interview very well. He's very intense. The players in the locker room absolutely love playing for him. He has a good eye for talent. He did it when he was at Seattle. Who's the one guy that came in and said, hey, by the way, let's move Byron Jones over to corner and see what happens. Byron Jones plays 48 games and never sniffs a Pro Bowl. And then Byron Jones this year's in the Pro Bowl. It just tells you a little bit about Chris. He's got, like I say, great eye for talent. He's an intense coach. The players love him.
He's amazing.
And this goes back to the players I've talked to in Seattle and the front office guys in Seattle. And they sing high praises even before he got here. Ambar and I have been very fortunate to be around him enough to know that this guy is legit. And so if he gets an interview, I think he'll interview very well. I think a team would be it would be a good hire if they were to bring Chris Richard in. Absolutely.
What do you think it would take to keep him?
Well, it's going to have to be that he doesn't feel comfortable with one of the jobs. The Jets, Miami, or Tampa. That he goes in there and he doesn't feel like that it's the right fit for him. And then all of a sudden then he could come back and say, hey, Jason Garrett has done that himself. Remember, he had Atlanta he interviewed for, Baltimore he interviewed for, and then he came back here and got the head coaching job. So I think Richard is going to have to go in there, and if he doesn't feel comfortable, but again, Ambar, as you well know, there's only 32 of these head coaching jobs in the world.
And we know for sure that he wants to be a head coach.
Yeah.
At least that's what he said.
Absolutely he does.
Training camp.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to keep him, but definitely wishing him the best.
Yeah. Hope he stays.
I hope he stays for sure.
Yeah.
Great asset for the Cowboys.
Someone asked me about if I'm still going to draft a tight end in the draft. I think if you go up.
Yeah, I saw that question too.
Yeah. If I still am looking. There's Dane Brugler and I were looking at tight ends, and there's a lot of really good ones in this draft. So if you can get a tight end, plus also then you're looking at a situation if you have Jarwin's developed, Schultz has developed. There's nothing wrong with having 3 tight ends in this draft. Or having 3 tight ends on your roster that can really, really play. And they had 4 at one time until Swain got hurt. But yeah, I'm still looking at a tight end as a supplement to potentially help. Yeah, there you go, Caden Smith, Stanford, good player, really good player though. So we'll see.
Well, and definitely, now we're getting to see at least most of the outsider, not you, because you watch a lot of the tape and you see a lot of these guys practicing, but remember back during training camp when the whole talk of Jason Witten retiring and what's going to happen at the tight end position, the Cowboys had a lot of faith and trust in Blake Jarwin and what he could possibly do. It took a long time. Too, yeah, they still drafted Dalton Schultz. It took a long time. It's kind of pretty late in the season to where this last month is where we finally started seeing some of it. And
you're absolutely right.
And because they got more opportunities after Swain got hurt, but is it enough? Is it enough to where?
Well, hopefully it's going to be enough to carry him in through these playoff games.
Yeah.
Hopefully these guys will continue to make plays, and so that's kind of where. But you're absolutely right. It's only been really the last month though that we've seen these guys coming up and getting an opportunity. Like you said, when Swain went down, Jason Garrett even said, "Hey, these guys have got to play," and they've played. And like you said, the last month they've been really, really good.
Now, last time the Cowboys faced Seattle.
Different, yeah. It's
gonna be different. What would be the main or biggest difference that you've seen so far after watching tape? Comparing it to the team they played earlier in the season versus the one they're going to face on Saturday.
Yeah, they've done a much better job of protecting their quarterback, and they've now gone back to the identity of them wanting to run the football. You're looking in a mirror because Dallas wants to run the ball to set other things up. Seattle wants to run the ball to set up their play action game because what they want to do is they want to get Russell Wilson on the edge. They want him to move. They want him to they want to suck the defense up and then throw the ball behind it and stuff. So when the last time the Cowboys played Seattle was coming off 2 straight losses. They lost to the Denver and then they lost to the Bears, and they got crushed against the Bears. They got physically beat up. And so after us, what they do? They ran the ball 38 times for only like 118 yards, but it was enough. And that's what they've done now. They've gone to these running backs, and you look at Chris Carson, and he's been really good for them. It'll be a test for the Cowboys to have to stop the Seattle running game. You stop the Seattle running game, now you're going to deal with Russell Wilson running around stuff. But if they're running the football, they are tough to stop, and that's how they've won games. Chris Carson, the last 3 games, has averaged like 119 yards a game. So they're going to want to run the ball, and you're going to need to stop the run. And that's really the biggest difference. They're protecting their quarterback better with the run and the play action game. Yeah.
Now, what about their D-line? And when you look at, obviously this is an area of concern for the Cowboys, the O-line, because of the injuries.
They don't block well,
and the injuries that they got going on. We know Tyron Smith has been suffering with stuff. Zach Martin, Xavier Sofilo, if he does play or not. So a lot of questions there, things that could go wrong, but things obviously that they've managed through. Yeah. But once you go up and face this defensive line, how's that matchup going to look like?
It's going to be good for you because you're not playing in Seattle. This defensive line thrives in that environment. They thrive in that noise. They thrive on the inability of the offensive linemen to hear their checks, to make their blocking adjustments. The snap count, all that stuff. This is going to be Frank Clark was a mention right there. Absolutely. That Frank Clark is if you look at what happened to a game, one of the pressures that he got, I was watching the game, one of the big pressures that he got against Tyron Smith was off of just a jump in the snap count, and then Tyron Smith not being able to hear the snap count. So, it's a crazy thing, man. They're going to have to deal with your guys, your pass rushers. But the good thing about it is your offensive line is playing at home, and so they'll be able to hear all the checks, all the things necessary to kind of pick these guys up. It's not the Amber, I'll say this. It's not the defensive line that we've seen from the Seahawks in the past with the Michael Bennett's and those kinds of guys. It's a little bit different front, but it's still one. If you don't block it, it'll give you some problems. The Cowboys gave up, I think it was 4 sacks in the game last time that these 2 teams played, and I think a lot of it had to do with them playing at home. I really, really do.
Now, questions about David Irving. Obviously, this has been a reoccurring theme. Every week, people still want to know what's up with David. Is he coming back? If so, when? We don't really know fully what is going on. We've talked about this. There are the speculations and all this stuff. We know there was the injury and then the personal stuff going on. He was here today. I ran into him. He was coming out of the locker room.
Did he say hello to you?
He has a lot of reporters around him, trying to get the scoop and figure out what is going on with him. He was in good spirits, I'll say that. But again, we don't really know if he's gonna come back. Most likely not. Most likely not. But you're still hearing those like whispers around the halls and stuff of most
talented player that I've ever seen.
Maybe getting in.
The most talented player that I've ever seen that never got to play. He's like the kid. He's the next Michael Jordan on a basketball court in New York that I'm never going to get to see play because something happens. Something always happens where that great player doesn't get to play.
So let's say the Cowboys win against Seattle. Move on to the next one.
He's not in shape.
Still not?
He's not in shape. And the rehab on the ankle hasn't gone well, and he's still got all the personal problems. There's a lot going on in that young man's life.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and God bless him. But there comes a time where the old saying is you fish or cut bait, and in this time, the Cowboys are. Jason Garrett, it's a week-to-week thing. He doesn't even say day-to-day. It's usually day-to-day. No, it's a week-to-week.
That's the only one here.
And if you talk to people in the organization, there's not much positive being said.
Yeah.
And that's they're focusing on the guys, the Karan Reeds and the Rosses and the guys like that they're practicing every day and getting better. And it's unfortunate that could they use David? Absolutely, they could use him. But there has to come a point in time where you want to be the guy, you want to be on the field playing, and
right.
Yeah, that's tough.
Who's gonna have a bigger game, Cooper or Beasley?
You know what? Everybody out there is kind of getting on my man Cooper a little bit, but he ran 2 sluggos, which is the slant go routes in that Giants games that should have been touchdowns. And Dak missed him both times. And one time, but the pressure was on Dak, and he threw one too far early in the game, wide open, and then late in the game, could have been the game winner. He threw it down the field and missed him too. You guys were probably on the field at that point in time, but yeah, it would have been 13 targets. It would have been 7 catches for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and everybody would have been yay Coop, yay Coop, yay Coop. But now it's like what's wrong with Coop? What's wrong with Coop? Yeah. So
no, and also
Happy New Year,
you
Alaska.
always have to Happy New Year.
Yeah.
You always have
too, by the way. Happy New Year.
Remember that having him opens up opportunities for other guys. So let's say you saw Cole Beasley.
So smart doing this.
Well, that's simple.
Well, no, I mean it's smart.
That's just simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, it opens things up for Beasley, and that's why you usually don't see more than one person getting big numbers. It's usually one guy and stuff. But because there is that whole balance of whatever the defense is going and who's catching more attention. Yeah. So it's good that he's there. And also Tavon Austin, a lot of questions about Tavon Austin and what he's going to be able to do in this game. He popped up on the injury report with the hamstring again. So that's a question mark. What are your expectations for him and what the Cowboys are planning on doing?
Well, last week they ran with a personnel group, Amber, that we call 0-1, with 0-1 with the tight end, no running back and one tight end. And then they had Beasley in the slot to the left, Austin on the slot to the right. They ran pivot routes inside where they ran up and went inside and then broke out. And the Giants had a linebacker covering Austin on third down. What did they do? They threw the ball first down, 10 yards. That's what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, the jet sweeps, putting him in the backfield, throwing him a swing ball. I was talking to some folks last week. Tavon Austin was going to be a big part of the game plan. He really, really was. And they got him the ball that one time, but they didn't do some of the other little tricks they had planned for him. And so we'll see the hamstring, him popping up on the injury report. That's not good because they're now kind of in a spot where they're thinking, okay, well, who's going to be active and who's going to be inactive? Yeah. And he's part of the game plan right now. So we'll see.
Definitely would be good to have him out there for sure. Let's see.
Can I answer that question right there?
Was Garrett calling plays last week?
I asked Garrett that question, and it wasn't him calling plays. I asked him because I was hearing Bobby Belt, who works with the NFL Network, he and I were having a discussion, and there was a lot of rumor and speculation that Doug Nussmeier, Dak Prescott, Jason Garrett, and all kind of got together about game plan this week for the Giants. And Scott called the game, but those guys had and we saw more tight end pass down in the red zone. We saw a fullback in the game down in the goal line, which we hadn't seen with Zeke. So everybody's thinking, oh, maybe Garrett's calling the plays. But I asked Garrett, I said, did you have a hand in the game plan last week? And I can usually tell when Garrett's lying, by the way. He kind of looked at me kind of like, no, I was okay. No, and then deep down inside, I'm thinking, man, there's too many people talking about you having a hand in the game plan this week. So,
if there was a game to do it, it was that one, to try out new things and see what you can do.
Doug Nussmeier, the tight end coach, what do you say?
Yeah.
Throw the ball to my guy. Just keep throwing throw it to my guy. Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
I saw that question. Let's see. Dak should throw deep when he gets a defensive offside call, right?
Yeah, free play, yeah. He threw the ball short. I'm like, and there was a couple of them where he threw short, and I was like, why is he doing that? Just chunk it. But sometimes you got to have the, he's a liar. No, don't call a man a liar. I mean, there's things that, he and I have disagreed on, but don't call the man a liar.
Yeah. Let's see.
Leighton Vander Esch is taking all the reps. He'll be good to go. He will be good.
Fortunately, it was nothing serious.
Did you lose your mind when he was laying on the field?
Well, so
I could see you in the press box just losing your mind right there.
Well, at first you saw him kind of limping, and I'm like, okay, wait, he's limping. And then all of a sudden, I think he did go and play the next play, and right after that, he went down. And I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
And it's just obviously something that you do not want to see happening.
No.
But he went down after Suafilo. Suafilo goes down first, and then him, and you're like, oh my God,
so now you're
what are they doing?
Now you're looking at the clock like, okay, get this damn thing over.
They still have Dak in the field, and you're thinking, why is he still in the game? Like, get him out. Like, you saw Suafilo, you saw Leighton, get Dak out.
The fan you turned into a fan?
Oh, I am a fan.
You turned into the fan?
I am a fan. Yes, I did not like it, but fortunately, it went the Cowboys' way.
Mike's not giving up on me there. He's a liar, but you don't like that situation. Okay, I got you.
But
98's good to go, too. 98's been practicing.
Yes.
Crawford's been practicing. He's been good to go. So that should be no problem there. He's been rotating with Randy Gregory had a nice game last week, too. Randy Gregory played the point of attack pretty well, so good to see Randy getting going. There's the opposite of David Irving right there.
Yeah. And then you also got DeMarcus Lawrence, who did a good job when he was in the field. He didn't play the whole game, but when he was in there, he definitely got to Eli. So that you got a good mix. Has Sean Lee lost a step, or is he just out of shape? Or is Leighton Vander Esch just that good?
Sean Lee will tell you that Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith deserve to play. He will tell you that. Matter of fact, I have it on good report that he actually told that to Jason Garrett. That he said, hey, I can't, I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Those kids are playing too well for them to come off the field. Sean Lee's a battler, a fighter, all those things. He'll tell you, though, too, that injury has robbed him of his career. And people will always, when Sean Lee plays, he's one of the best. But right now, he's a backup player, and hopefully, hopefully that old dog will have another day, this week. You get in the playoffs, you never know. Sean Lee will make one of those instinctual plays on a 4th down and 2. You'll trap Russell Wilson in the backfield, and the game will be over. Hopefully that's it.
And that's the great thing about Sean Lee is that he's going to be honest. Like, he cares more about the team
than he does himself.
Than about himself as a player.
Right. That's absolutely
So that's the amazing thing. And,
Yep.
Randy Gregory has been playing his tail off.
Yeah.
Yes. Do the Cowboys defer the ball if they win the toss?
Lately, they've been doing that. So, maybe so. I mean, that's a good question. We'll see. How about that? Getting interior offensive lineman to Wagner to key. Yeah, him and KJ Wright both. You cannot leave Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright unblocked in this game. They will make 1,000,000 tackles. You just can't have it happen.
D-line going to take this game over stop running the business.
Oh, the question I asked Mickey, the question I asked Mickey right there. The question Cowboys, I asked Mickey, okay, what position, and that's kind of an off-season question, but what position would you draft right now, what position would you draft right now?
What position?
Our periscoper said running back. I still think kind of I'd go tight end, but depending on are you going to resign DeMarcus Lawrence? You might need to go get so I think you're going to be able to do it. I think
it's like, what guys are you keeping first?
Yeah.
And what are you doing in free agency?
Right.
Because again, the draft is going to be different this year.
Yeah, no first round pick.
So I don't.
There you go. O-line, tight end. Yeah, I asked this question on Talking Cowboys to Mickey and to Rob, and so keep drafting O-linemen. You have to have. Yeah, there we go. See,
I also need to know what's going on with this draft class.
I'm going to get you on the draft show. Get ready.
Need to know what's the best group out there.
The tight end group's looking really good.
The tight end group is looking good.
I've studied those guys. They're running back people. Yeah, because they don't trust Rod Smith. I don't think.
Rod Smith. That's an interesting.
He's not under contract, so that's an interesting one right there.
And the interesting thing is, honestly. And I love Rod Smith. We've seen him do really good. He's a great guy too off the field. But we've seen him take a step back, right?
Yeah,
it has not been.
I'm laughing at this one. That's our motto on the draft show: investigate and educate.
That's your motto.
That's our motto. We're gonna get you the motto. Yeah.
All right, I like it.
Mickey, Mike's saying that they need a Chris Thompson type of back. He's the guy at Washington that's kind of a toy back. That he kind of does everything. You throw it to him on third down, he runs and all that. Yeah, there's a guy at Florida Atlantic that you need to take a look at that's kind of like that. But yeah, you're right about Rod Smith. I get caught up in all the little.
Yeah,
I get distracted.
Covering.
I get distracted. I get too distracted on these periscopes.
Okay, so playoff week. Are you gonna be nice and decide to give us your gut feeling?
No.
Early.
I finished 11-5 this year on gut feeling.
Oh yeah.
11-5. Thank you.
Good for you.
Now, if you took the real games that I picked, if you took it, Dave Hellman tried to explain this to me. I picked it 11-5, but if I'd have picked it just with the Cowboys, if I'd have just picked it, the games I picked with the Cowboys, it was 10-6. Mickey thought I thought they were going to be 10-6. Mickey thought they would be 15-1. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, if you want to know his gut feeling,
Friday.
It's still going up Friday.
Yeah.
Just check it out on DallasCowboys.com.
Please do.
And we'll see what happens. Is Beasley coming back? He might be too expensive. Now we're getting into the off-season talk, but
no off-season talk yet.
we're still in. We're still
hanging in there.
He's still in here.
Yeah.
Yes. Your gut says Seattle because of Russell Wilson. I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, it's a team that is not very far off from the Cowboys and what the Cowboys have. So it's gonna be a pretty good balanced game.
Absolutely.
Gonna be tough. Be tough. Any thoughts on next year?
Ambar's gonna get to go to some good places next year. She's gonna make some good trips. You get to go back to Chicago. You get to go to New England. You ever been to New England? Foxborough?
I don't think so.
Okay, mark that off your list. Hopefully it won't be late in the year for you, Ambar, because you'll absolutely hate it if you go up there late. It's a good schedule.
Swain?
No, he's out. Completely gone. You've used all your injury moves to come back, so Jeff Swain is done for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, next year's schedule is rough. Ambar's going to go on some good trips, though. She's got to go to Chicago, New Orleans. It's going to be rough,
but it's going to be fun.
Los Angeles. It'll be fun. We'll see.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, fingers crossed for this Saturday game. We're hoping the Cowboys do win against the Seahawks and keep it going because it will only get tougher from here on out.
If we lose, though, Ambar, check her out on the draft show with me. Me and Dane Brugler. We're going to get her drafting players.
When are y'all starting that?
We usually go the week before the Senior Bowl. So coming up, not too far away from now.
All right.
Like the 15th of January. So get ready.
There you have it. Get ready.
Yeah.
You get ready.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Ready to go. Well, thank you guys so much. Remember to check out DallasCowboys.com for the gut feeling. Somos Cowboys for all that Spanish jazz, Spanish stuff.
I'm learning.
Besos a todos.
Happy New Year, guys.
Investigate and educate.
How do you say it in
Investiga y educa.
Boom.
investiga y educa. Chao a todos, nos vemos hasta la próxima. Todos nos vemos hasta la próxima. Todos nos vemos hasta la próxima. Todos nos vemos hasta la próxima.